Go. I hope it is running. 1, 2, 3. Hello, this is Dimitri Badiar, violin designer and violin maker, speaking to you from my workshop in The Hague, the Netherlands. Please let me know where you're joining me from which country, and what you are doing, whether you are just a music lover, musician, maybe you are violinist or violist or cellist. And in this video, I want to speak about the differences between gut strings and modern metal or multi-filament synthetic core strings. And actually not only speak about this, but I actually want to know your perspective on this. Because if you tried both gut and synthetic strings, then you're definitely in a position to express your opinion about it. So what I want to do now, I want to play for you this violin. This violin has been built by myself and has been played for a while by a few really great players, I must say. And when this instrument returned to myself, so it was strung with a very unusual, I would say, setup. So it has an E string, Lenzner, or gold brocade E string. So it has naked A string. It's not wound, it is, I don't know if you can see that, it is not wound, it is absolutely naked gut. And then it has got two gut strings by Pirastro Eudoxa. So 3 gut strings, 1 naked gut and 1 metal strings. Now, I don't know if this kind of setup common in your area, but it's actually a joy for myself to see more and more frequently players in this country, in the Netherlands, even really great players using this setup, because they believe, I also believe, that the gut strings gives that warmth, flexibility and mellowness to the tone of the violin. These strings do not dominate the instrument, so they actually allow the instrument to come through in a very much more a genuine, authentic way. And what I want to do in this video, by the way, type below this video where you're joining me from and what instruments you play and what is your perspective on the differences between yes, gut strings and synthetic strings. So I lost my thought. I'm going to play for you first the synthetic gut strings, excuse me, and then I will restring the violin in front of you and we'll play it once again on these strings, which are from Warsaw, Bogdan Warsaw. I have received this set of strings as a gift, and actually I want to play for you a very, very unusual string. Let me show you what I mean by a very unusual string. It's an E string which is made of steel, but then it has this little spiral here. I don't know if you can see this. I don't know how you can. Yeah, so there is this little spring, little spiral, and the idea is that when you stretch the string, this spiral will disappear, but the string does not get stretched quite straight, so there is still a little of undulation or something like, you can hardly see it, but you can slightly feel it under your fingers. And the effect is that this string is kind of stretchy, close to the gut, and I find it really, really interesting. But I want to hear your opinion. We will begin with the setup as it is at this moment, then I'll restring and then we'll speak. So enjoy. I have the impression, I have the feeling that this, especially the naked A string, gives the sound almost three-dimensional quality. Now lots of overtones. Now, by the way, type below this video what do you think about the sound of these gut strings on this instrument. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to restring this instrument as fast as I possibly can. Let's get the A string. No, let's get the E string first. So now it is that E string with the spiral on it. Interesting. It's very interesting to compare a naked A string with the steel string, which has that spiral. Indeed, it feels more flexible. Indeed, it feels more sonorous, more... Do I dare to say it, closer to the gut? What do you think? What's your opinion? It's really interesting. So now I'm going to change the A string. Now the A string is naked gut. What I'm going to do is I will put Warshall A, brand new. There we go. And I'm really curious how these two incomparable, potentially incomparable things compare to each other. Actually, I'm not a big fan of comparing incomparable things. But since in violin strings, the etalon of quality, beauty of sound is the natural gut string, that's what we kind of tend to use as the etalon of quality. Now, A string. Nice and thick. Feels like, almost like gut in terms of thickness, this string. I really like that. Now I go to tune it. We'll play the same passage from Bach Violin Concerto and see how that performs after the naked gut A string. By the way, the gut I was using on this violin, just played for you, is from Aquilacorde, an Italian company. Here's the envelope. I definitely love Aquila strings. And back in until 2006, when I lived in Brussels, in Belgium, I was used to play only Aquila strings. And I was a distributor for Aquila, actually. selling sometimes up to 5,000 euros of strings per month, something like that. Oh, it's crazy that still E string is still stretching. All right, let's tune the volume. What do you think? Here, under the fingers, under the bow, under my ear, it really sounds remarkably close to the gut string. Different, feels different for sure. Feels somewhat darker than the pure gut. After I finish this video, it will be interesting to rewind back and hear the sound of the gut string, then forward, rewind forward and compare it with the Warshall synthetic core. Feels like the E string is my favorite now. Now let's change the gut D and G now for Warshall synthetic core. Looks like I was trying to string the D string, the G string instead of D. That should be correct, this one. And I'm also changing the string as well, the G string as well. So now we get all 4 strings from Warshall. I really like the thickness of the strings under the finger. They're really a little bit thicker and feels really close to the gut. That are kind of things that I really like. Now let's tune. Is it still running? What do you think now? Sounds a lot more powerful, obviously, louder than the gut strings. Also has more higher overtones, yet the low overtones are still present. I like it. It feels like in one video we traveled something like 50 years in time from pure gut setup to pure synthetic setup with this revolutionary, do I dare to call it a revolutionary E string with that spiral? So what do you think about this? I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this comparison of pure gut strings, including even one naked gut A, and a whole set of synthetic core strings with the revolutionary E string with that little spiral, which is very, very interesting. Feels like a really almost like the closest to the gut for sure, but I'm really, really curious about your opinion. So please type below this video your opinions about the differences between the strings. It will be really also interesting to learn what is your choice and for what reasons, and also maybe what kind of violin you play. If that makes sense to you, I trust that it's very important to match the right strings with the right violin. So that would also be interesting to know that if you prefer some other kind of set of strings, for what reason and what the violin is that you are currently playing. If you are not playing gut strings, for what reason, and so forth. That would be really, really interesting, I believe, to definitely to myself and also to everybody watching this video. I think they will enjoy reading your expert opinion about the correct stringing of these beautiful chordophones. So, well, this was Dimitri Badiarov, violin designer and violin maker. It was really fun connecting with you. Really, thanks a lot. I'm really looking forward to speaking to you in person. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to myself. I'm here to help. And once again, I wish you a lovely, lovely Christmas season and Happy New Year. And I'm definitely looking forward to connecting with you in this month and definitely in the next year as well. So take care and all the best.